Board Games. We're going to be playing a playthrough of this game that's coming to Kickstarter soon. It's called Donning the Purple. We're going to start by setting up. We're going to put the grain marker at 2 on the track, the happiness marker at 5, and the year marker is going to be placed at 1. Next, we're going to take 2 of the legions, which are the red cubes, and place them on each capital. So there are 4 regions, and each region has 6 different provinces within that region. And we're going to be playing a 3-player playthrough. Here is green, white, and black. I've set up their mats except for blacks here, but each person randomly will get a mat who will assign their starting person. Green here is going to start as Emperor and will also receive the Emperor track here. And we will add the aqueduct tiles to that. We have the grain markers to mark the grain. And we put all the stamina tokens in the unused. Put all 3 of the monuments and estates. Did that for them. And we will do that for black as well. We will then take each player's pawn and plus an estate of each color to start in Roma. The white player here is going to start as being the heir, and the black player is going to start with having the highest seat in the Senate. So everyone's Senate tokens will be placed to the side, and black will be able to start in the first seat. We have different cards. Each player starts with 1 secret hidden agenda and 1 plot card, except for the Emperor gets to start with 2. The hidden agenda cards will give you ways to score points and perhaps things that might minus points at the end of the game. Plot cards can be used anytime to use what the text say, or you can use it to help with your strength by using the indicated number in the bottom right corner. Also during setup, each player starts with 15 money, 15, and the Emperor starts with only 10. Now the game is set up, and we will go through 4 different years following these different phases. The first phase is incoming enemies. We will roll a d6, which is a 4, and we're going to place 2 enemies in each 4 province of each region. Each of these enemies that are on the board will now move 1 closer to the capital. And so the capital might be going down, as this is a 4 going to a 3, or it might be going up, as this is a 4 going to a 5, trying to get to the 6. This one's going down, and as you see right here, they cannot move into this capital until they have more number of enemies than there are legions defending the place. So they will stay here until they get more powerful, or they might die before that, but if they had 3 of them here, they could take over this capital. Alright, we are now gonna harvest grain, and we will roll a d4, which is a 2, and that region will receive a famine token, which means that we will not get the grain that is produced in that region, which you can see is a 3. So now we are gonna count up all the grain that we have, And so we have 3. We don't count this one because of the famine. We have 3 over here. That's 6. We have 6 here, that's 12. And then we have 3 right here, so that's 15. And we will mark it by placing these cubes on this track of the Emperor to keep track of grain. We are now to phase 3, draw cards. So the Emperor is going to draw 5 event cards, and we're going to draw them and see what they say. Roll a d6 to decide the province number, and region 3 and 4 are going to have enemies that come. And so I'm going to roll this. It's a 4. And so in region 3, which is here, we rolled a 4, and in region 4, there's a 4. And then it says move all the enemies in region 4 closer to the regional capital. So 3 here, this is gonna go down, this is gonna go down, and this is gonna take over that capital right there. All right, the second card is grain shortage. Remove 3 grain from the storage. Okay, so we're at 15, so it's gonna now go to 12. All right, third event, famine. Roll a d4 and place a famine token on that region. If there's an aqueduct, then we don't have to place it. Well, we don't have any aqueducts on the board yet, so I'm gonna roll a d4, and it says 2, so we will place another famine token on region 2. All right, we're gonna draw our 4th card, which is an earthquake. Roll a d4 and decide the target region, and in that region, all buildings are removed, and add a famine token. Remove 1 unit from each province. Okay, so here's the d4. And it's a 2 again, and so we will add another famine token and remove 1 unit from each of these provinces. And none of us are in that area. If our pawn was in that area, then we would lose 2 of our stamina tokens. All right, our last event is the heir dies. So if no player is the heir, then we'll shuffle it back. But as you remember, this player started as the heir, so they are no longer the heir. It's gonna go back onto the Emperor board, and to become the heir, the Emperor's gonna have to pay 15 money to be able to become the heir. After drawing all the events, a forum card is gonna be drawn, and if you put 1 of your stamina on this spot, you can get some money for it. We are now to the 4th phase, player actions. And so the Emperor will start, and the Emperor has 3 actions that they can perform, while the other players have 2. On the board you can see different actions can be copied, and the amount of stamina that you use is soon going to be in the used stamina area. Once all the stamina is gone, your player dies, you receive a -1 victory point, and you start again. So green for his first move, he's going to move his stamina token, and he's going to move a pawn because he wants to attack the enemy there on the board. The pawns can move up to 3 spots, and their strength is 2. So he's going to go 1, and really he's 2 versus 2, but he's going to attack him because he's going to use a plot card that has a +2 strength to it. Ignoring that text, he's going to discard that, so his strength is 4, and will defeat the 2 enemy. When enemy is defeated on any province, the happiness marker moves up 1 on the track. And he defeated 2 enemies, and so gets to roll 2 glory dice, which you can see these are just normal dice, but in the Kickstarter they are going to be custom dice. All right. He rolled 2 3s, which is going to add up to 6 money. If he rolled different numbers, a 6 will cause you to move one of your used stamina up to your unused, and a 1 will cause you to draw a plot card. 2 through 5 is going to draw that much money. All right, white decides that they are going to copy and do the same thing, except for they're going to move 1, 2, 3, and because the strength is 2, they beat this one enemy. Happiness is going to go up 1, and they will roll 1 die, which is a 5. They will get 5 money. Black decides that they are going to copy as well, and they have a different plan where they're going to move 1 because they can go where the lines go across the sea. 1, 2, 3. Back to green for a second action. He's going to buy an aqueduct. When you buy any building, it's going to go up on the production track in the most left number when we place these on the board. And he is going to pay 5 money to be able to put that on the board. When he does, he can remove 2 famine tokens. Since that action was on the Emperor mat, the other players are not able to copy. For green's last turn, he's going to bribe a senator, which we look on here, it's going to cost 2 coins. Pays a 5 and gets 3 back, and green will be able to place one of those on the track. White decides that he will copy and is going to pay 3. Get 2 back, and white will now be the highest. Black decides he's going to pass. Now that green is done, he will take his stamina tokens on his board, place them in the used stamina, and then draw 1 more plot card. The hand limit, you can see, is 3 plot cards at a time. It is now white's turn, and with their hidden agenda, they want to end with being the emperor, being the heir, and they want to make sure that they have some seats in the Senate. And so he will start his turn by trying to assassinate the emperor. And so to do this, rolls a d6, and the result of the die plus any plot cards that he may use with the strength can raise the number of stamina tokens that will be placed down in the used stamina area, which can cause the emperor to die quicker. Now green as well has plot cards, can use them as well to defend, but he's going to decide he wants these, and so he's not going to use any. So we're going to roll a d6, and it's a 5. So that's a big hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. White, for the second move, is going to get a monument. Monuments will go up on the production track. Black decides that he will copy, and both of these players, of course, paying the $5 to do so. And green decides that they are going to pass. All right, white's turn is up, and so they're going to take all their stamina that they used. Place it down there and grab a plot card. Alright, it's Black's turn, and Black decides, because of their hidden agenda, they want to get a lot of money. They want at least 50 and to be the richest, and they do not want to be the poorest. And so with their first move, they are gonna build an estate, which will get placed on the board there, and it costs 3, 5, 2, all right. Green decides that they will copy and pay the 3. And white decides as well that they will copy. They will pay the 3. And black, since they really do want money, decides with their second one they're gonna do that again. And they will pay 3. Green decides that they're gonna pass. White decides that they are gonna pass. So black moves all of tokens used and draws a plot card. All right, we are now in the 5th phase, place buildings. And so as you see, we will place just the first 4, but before we do so, we're gonna see who's in the highest seat of the Senate, which is white, and they can swap any 2 of the buildings. And so they of course will wanna swap theirs, this white one, and they are gonna decide that they are gonna swap it with that one to make it harder for the emperor. So now they're gonna place their buildings. White decides that he doesn't want to place it in this region because they have famine, so he won't be able to be paid, and so he's gonna try and put it in that 6th spot there. Monument goes straight to the board, which causes his pawn to have an increased strength of 1. Black as well will place that on his board, do the same effect, and he will take his estate. He's gonna put it over on that 6th. Only 1 building can be on each province, minus the starting area in Roma. And when an enemy or certain event cards happen, it can take the buildings off. We are now on phase 6, distribute food. And so each province that is on the board needs to have food, except for if they have an enemy placed on them. And so we will count over here. There's all 6 plus 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we need 22 grain, and we have 12. We can look up and see what the price is for the grain and see if Emperor wants to buy grain. For each province that doesn't get a grain, the happiness track can go down 1 per each province that's not fed. Green, as the Emperor decides, $6 can only buy 3. Well, he instead is gonna play this plot card. Move the grain 1 space up or down. And so he decides to move it up and will buy 6, use all of his money, plus 12, that's 18. So he's gonna feed 18 and out of the 22, and so happiness is gonna go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the grain is gonna be used for that. If all the provinces got fed, then the happiness marker would move 1 to the right. And after building those buildings, these will get shifted down like that. And with that, the emperor as well will get to collect taxes. And so we are gonna again count the areas that enemies are not on and areas that are not famished. And so over here we have the 6, 7, that area has famine, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And so the emperor now gets paid 16. And now each player will receive 5 money for each estate that they have on the board. And as you can see, white has 2, black has 1, and then 2 down here, and green has 1. None of them are in famished regions, and so they will get 10, 10, and 5. All right, it is now end of year, and so we're gonna check the board. If all 28 enemies were on the board, then we would lose. Everyone would lose. That's not happening right now. If they were in every single capital, we would all lose, and that's not happening. Everyone's gonna discard down to 3 cards, and so they don't have any to discard. And then the emperor is going to receive victory points where the happiness track is. And as you can see, this area all gets 1. So it's going to get 1 victory point. Yay. We are going to remove 1 famine marker from each region, which is just going to be this one. All right, and then we're gonna move to the next year. So we're gonna start with incoming enemies. We're gonna roll the d6. It's a 2. 2 of these get placed on each 2. And so in this case, the capital is 2, and so it can't get placed there. Over here, 2. Over here, 2. Over here at 2. And then all the enemies are going to move closer, and so closer to the capital. So the capital is higher in that case. In this case, it's going to be lower. These guys are going to defeat those guys, and they are going to move like that. And these guys are going to move there. All right, we're gonna harvest grain. We're gonna roll a d4. It's a 3. And so the famine marker gets put on that area there. And then we're gonna count grain. So 3, 6, nope, there's a famine still. So that doesn't count, this doesn't count, and this has enemies in it. And so we only have 3, 6 from Roma. So we're gonna put 5, 6. Luckily the grain price is low right now, but that could change any time. All right, the emperors are gonna start drawing event cards. The Roman people are unhappy. Move 2 spaces to the left. Oh, 1, 2. Close, close, close. Second card. The guards want their money. The emperor loses unless he pays money. He decides that he's probably going to be dying here anyways, and so he's gonna decide to lose his tokens, which it's the 2nd year, which means his stamina is gone. So we look to see who has the heir token. Well, no one has it because it's right here on the board. And so we then look to see who's highest in the Senate, which is white. So white is now going to become emperor. Since white becomes emperor, we take this token off, and as you can see, they have the track just as it is, and maybe they inherited something that they might not like so much, especially due to the fact that the happiness marker is at 1. So white, as the new emperor, was gonna continue drawing event cards. All right, they want more money. He's gonna lose 2, or does he pay money? He decides that he's gonna lose 2 as well. All right, let's draw the 4th card. Let's see, green import prices increases. Move it down 1 space. So we'll go over here, and it's gonna be 2. And the last card, your rivals are doing well. All players except for the emperor may put a free monument or a free estate on the production track. Well, that's no good for white here. So, you know, black's all after the money, so they're gonna put their estate, and green decides that they will do the estate as well. Green, since they died, needs to reset their board, so they are going to place all their tokens on the unused area, and because they died, they get a -1 victory point. After drawing the event cards, we draw the forum card. So we can move our stamina to be able to move our unused, or our used stamina to our unused. We are now down to phase 4, player actions, and we're going to start with the emperor. White is going to decide to pay to build a monument, and takes us 5 to pay. Black decides that, well, they'll copy. They'll put this up on the track and pay 5 money. And since green is full of stamina, they will copy as well and put that on the board, paying 5. White decides that they might not make it as emperor much, and so they are going to try to bribe a senator here. If you look on the track, they're gonna have to pay 3. 1, 2, 3. Goes in there, and they will put their senate there. Black decides to pass, and green says that he will copy as well. Bribe the senator, and it's 4, 5. Get a 1 back. And green will place theirs like that. And white's last action, they decide that they are gonna move their pawn, and they are gonna move once here. Their strength is up 1, so they can defeat these, which will cause the happiness to go up 1. 2 enemies, so they get to roll 2 glory dice, and they have a 4 and a 3, so 7 money. 5, 6, 7, and that's the end of their turn. Put all those down there, and grab a plot card. Black is gonna copy white and decide to move as well. So black decides to go here, because he as well has a +1 strength. Removes enemy, the happiness goes up, and roll 2 glory dice. Alright, so 2 money, and a plot card. He sees this plot card and decides to play it right now. Steal 5 money from the emperor. Green looks at the board, and sees that there's no enemy near them, so they are going to pass. It is Black's turn, and with their first move, they are going to move their pawn again. They will go 1, 2. They have strength of 3. There's 4, and they are going to use this to increase their strength. And because they destroy that, this moves up to the 4. They cleared out enemies in a capital, so they get a victory point for doing so, and they get to roll 4 glory dice, which is going to equal to 14, and they get to move one of these up there. For his second action, he decides that he's going to bribe a senator, and looks at the board, and that's 5s. Pays 5 and places that there. Green looks at his money and decides he doesn't want to pay the money for the Senate seat, so passes. White does the same thing, looking at his money, thinks he will pass. So Black will put these in his used stamina spot and grab a plot card. It is Green's turn, and they decide that they're gonna revisit their hidden agenda here. They want to get their monuments and estates out, and so they are gonna do a monument first, place it up here on the board, and pay 5 to do so. White decides to pass. Black decides to pass. For Green's second action, he will build an estate for 3. Place it on the production line there. 5, and get 2 back. Green decides to play a plot card, which says move the heir from anywhere to the player mat, to your player mat, free of charge. And so it is sitting over here, so now Green is gonna be the heir. And Green is gonna place these tokens there and draw a plot card. They're gonna keep that one. All right, we're gonna place buildings. We're gonna look, and Black is the top, and so Black can swap. So he's gonna swap this one with that aqueduct again. All right, Green decides to put his estate over there where his pawn is to protect it. This monument goes on Black's board. That's +1 to any rolls of assassination. And he's got 2 estates. He's gonna place 1 down there, and he's gonna place this one down there. These all move over. We now need to distribute food, and there are 25 provinces, and if you see on the board, there's only enemies in 2 of them, and so 23 of them there needs to be 23 grain. If we look at the board, there are 6, and so White is not have enough money and decides that they are just gonna probably die anyways, and so they will pay the 6, and they are way off to get the grain. Happiness goes down. So now we look and we see who has the air token, which is back to green. Green gets the Emperor board back and connects it onto his. The happiness track is reset. And the air token is used and placed there. Now the Emperor's gonna collect taxes. So those two regions have a famine tile on them. And so we're gonna count these other ones, which is gonna be 6 plus this 6 over here, plus Roma. So that's 13. We will now look at estates. Green has 2, so they will get 10. Black has 1, 2, 3, 4, so they are going to get 20. And white has 2, so they will get 10. It's the end of the year. No one has plot cards they need to discard. It looks like green gets 1 victory point. And we will remove a famine token from those areas. And we are in the 3rd year.